All righty, it is 12:02, so we will begin. As I said before, we'll be on our back and bend your knees, bring your feet to the mat, and then bring them as wide as the mat, and then let your knees fall to the center and rest on each other there. Bring your hands wherever it feels comfortable and anchoring, where you can just let go. You've arrived on your mat. You've dedicated the next hour to breathe and move and cultivate your own presence. Create some space. You've given that gift to yourself. And so allow the body this time to have a transition as you let your day fall away and just be on the mat. Slowly become more aware of your breath. And over the course of about 4 to 5 breaths, just each breath a little deeper, a little fuller on the inhale, and a little more push on the exhale. In and out, creating a little bit more space, a little bit more volume. Until you have a nice full breath, filling up your lungs all the way to the top on your inhale. And then exhaling and emptying completely out so there's nothing left. We're going to join together in some community breaths. There are 4-part breaths. You'll have a count of 5 on your inhale with a brief pause at the top, and then a 5-count exhale with a brief pause at the bottom. So let's meet on the bottom of an exhale. So all your air out to the bottom of your lungs, and seal the lips. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. Again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause. 3 more rounds. Your own breath, your own count. After your 3rd round, let go of the counting, but maintain the fullness of your breath. And then just for a moment before we start moving, with that full breath, feel the movement that incites in your body as you breathe in deeply. Your rib cage expands in all directions. And then as you exhale, it collapses and maybe the low belly tones a little bit. If your eyes are closed, blink them open, and then heel toe your feet about hip width apart. Just let your knees fall from side to side. You can let your range of motion build after a few reps. Your hands are stretched out by your side. And intentionally, fluidly allowing your knees to fall from side to side. It's okay, you can let your hip, that opposite side hip, come up off the mat. That's fine, just finding this nice, gentle, twisting, dynamic motion. And then settling in the middle with your knees, scooching your feet close to your sit bones. Push down through both your feet and lift up into a bridge. Really squeezing the glutes here. A little bit of heat here right in the beginning. Lower down one vertebrae at a time. I'm going to back us up just a little bit here. On your next exhale, pelvic tilt. So exhale, low back to the ground. That tailbone comes light, but the hips stay on the ground. Inhale, release. The low back will arch up off the ground. Exhale, low back to the ground, bracing through the core. Tailbone scoops up just a little bit. Inhale, release down. You have 3 more of those. Each exhale, you want to really feel the bracing of the core. So the zippering up of the rib cage and the belly button pulling down and up towards the spine. One more. Finding those belly muscles. Release down. Your next pelvic tilt, we're coming all the way up into another bridge. So your hips should have scooped up off the ground and then your spine inched up off the ground. Squeeze your glutes at the top. Little squeeze to the knees. Slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time, all the way to the tailbone. You can continue with that bridge, or you can add in your arms for a dynamic bridge. So exhale, come on up. The arms will sweep up overhead, all the way overhead onto the mat, holding for a moment at the top, and then slowly lowering down. The arms sweep across and down back by your side. Again, up into bridge, sweeping the arms up. It's okay to eliminate the arms here if you want, and then releasing down. Arms come back to the side. 2 more bridges, using your own breath. Finding a little pause at the top before coming down intentionally and controlled. Maintain those nice big full breaths that we worked on in the beginning of class. All the way down. Keep that left leg bent. Raise the right leg up into the air. Okay, if you'd like to use a strap, we'll be going through our lymphedema exercises. You can also use your hands behind the hamstring to help keep it up there. Okay, so strap, hands or no hands, all of that works. Exhale, point the toe. Inhale, flex it back towards your shin. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex, really pull it back. Point, really point it forward. Flex, really pull those toes back. One more time. Exhale, point. Inhale, flex. On this next exhale, you're gonna bend at the knee and really squeeze the heel in towards the butt and then release it back long. Exhale, bend and squeeze it in. You'll feel your hamstrings work here. And then release it long and really find that straight and strong leg. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, straight and strong. We're gonna do one more like that. Exhale, bend and pull it in. Inhale, straight and strong. Keep it nice and long. Little circles. Nice and slow. Make sure your low back is not overarching off the floor. Change directions. Nice and slow, breathing nice and naturally with your big full breath. Coming into stillness with that leg and returning your foot to the ground. 2 more bridge pose. Feel free to make it dynamic with the arms or leave that out. Again, using those nice full breaths. And after your second bridge, setting up for the second side, so the right leg will stay bent. You'll straighten out that left leg over the hip, using whatever you need to keep it there with some amount of comfort, okay? On your exhale, point and really stretch that toe to point. Inhale, flex, really pull those toes in. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale. One more. On your exhale this time, heel comes to your glutes. Squeeze it in. Inhale, straight and strong. Exhale, squeeze that heel into the glute. Inhale, straight and strong. You've got 2 more of these on your own. Finding the engagement at the very end of each of these movements. After your second one, come into stillness and start your circles. One direction, nice and slow. Check in with your shoulders and your jaw. Just make sure you're not holding tension there. And then just keep breathing those nice big full breaths. Switch the direction. And then come into stillness and return that left leg, left foot to the ground. 2 more bridge pose with or without the arms. Using your breath, finding the full extent of your range of motion, being mindful and present in your movements. Pausing here after your second one, bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to fall out wide into Supta Baddha Konasana. And we won't be here for too long, but if you have some props handy and you want to put them underneath your thighs just to allow that grounding and releasing to happen through the hips, close down your eyes for a moment. Continue that nice full breath that we've been working on all through the beginning of class here. And then bring your hands to the outside of the knees. Close your knees like a book and roll to your side. You can pause here for a moment if you like. We're just kind of making our way into a seated position, making that transition nice and slow. Grab whatever it is that you're going to sit on, a folded up towel, a blanket, firm pillow. And then, as we know, scooch those sit bones right to the edge of whatever it is you're sitting on. So it's almost like you're rocking off of that little edge. And finding that neutral pelvis so you can sit up nice and tall. Pull the belly in just a little bit and let the shoulders relax down the back. The hands rest nice and lightly on the knees, either palms down or palms up. If you feel like you have energy to share, palms up. If you feel like you need to protect your energy and keep it within, palms down. We're going to pause here for a moment, close the eyes down. Turn off that thinking brain, right? Allow that mind and body to come to the center of your being using your breath to help anchor the mind. I'd like you to decide on an intention to your practice today. Intentions are simple. They're nothing too complex. They can be things as simple as be present or breathe or find opening. So something really simple that you'd like to sort of bring into your practice today, something that maybe you're working on. Lots of times intentions address those aspects of our practice that sometimes feel hard. Be open to that. I want you to think of a mantra that you can use throughout your practice for the rest of our time to help sort of keep you anchored to that intention. So oftentimes my simple intention is to stay present. So my mantra might be, I'm here. And that's what I repeat to myself throughout my practice, I'm here. Come up with a simple phrase to help anchor you to your intention. And take a couple of full, big, encompassing breaths to seal that intention in. Blink the eyes open. Inhale, sweep the arms up, look up, watch them connect. Exhale, down through heart center. Again, inhale. Exhale. Keep going. Inhale. Exhale. Find the flow of breath and arms. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more, using your own breath. We'll meet with your hands at heart center after your third one. Another big inhale, sweep the arms up, leave them up, palms face forward. Exhale, bend at the wrist. You can't see my arms, but we're bending at the wrist. And then inhale, point back up with your fingers. Exhale, bend at the wrist. Inhale, point the fingers up. Good, you guys got it. Exhale, this should be like second nature now. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Next exhale, squeeze into a fist. Squeeze your fingers together. Find that engagement. Inhale, release. Let it all go. Exhale, find the tension. Squeeze it together. Inhale, release it out. Good. 3 more just like that. Exhale, finding that tension. Squeeze it. And then inhale, release. 2 more. And after that second one, keep the hands and yeah, Holly's already got it. Circles. Like I don't even need to cue this, right? Little circles, intentional circles. Switch directions. And we're almost there. If your shoulders are starting to feel it, it's okay. That's normal. Good. Pause into stillness. Look up, reach up, fill your lungs up. And then as you exhale, bring your hands down through heart center. Pausing here for a moment. We just had our shoulders, our hands above our head. So you can even, take your hands, let them go. Roll out your shoulders. Maybe a little seated cat-cow action. All right, coming into neutral spine. Bring your hands back to heart center. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Leave them there. Right hand drops to the mat as your kickstand. Exhale, lean to the right. Okay, keep that chest up. That right hand can inch out as you kind of lean further. Anchor your left sit bone in the ground. Pull the shoulders down the back and pull the belly in as you lean. Inhale yourself back upright. Take your right hand now and put it behind your hip, fingertips pointed away. Inhale, reach that left arm up. And then exhale, coming into a twist. Your left arm is going to come to the outside of the right knee as you twist to the right. Okay, so as you find this twist here, make sure you're sitting tall through the spine and it's a spiraling effect. So try to avoid any kind of rounding or curling through the spine. Nice and long, and it's a spiraling. Chest as open as you can make it. Maybe you look behind you over your right shoulder. Keep your low belly in so there's not extra, extension through the low back. So everybody meet on the end of an exhale. So exhale, maybe twist a little bit more through that exhale. On your inhale, unwind, sweep your arms up. Inhaling here, exhaling down through heart center. Other side, inhale, up. Pause here. Left hand now comes down to the mat and exhale, lean to the left. So it's a side lean. Keep that chest open to the ceiling as much as you can. So try to avoid that shoulder rolling in front of you. Keep that bicep by the ear. And maybe your arm is actually stretching up a little bit as opposed to down. Shoulders pull down the back. The right sit bone is anchored. Belly's pulled in. Really feel that separation of rib cage and hip bone. Inhale yourself back up to center. Readjust that hand so it's rotated back behind the left hip. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, twisting to the left, bringing your right hand to the outside of the left knee. So set yourself up here with a nice long spine. Both sit bones are anchored. Shoulders are pulled down the back and your low belly's pulled in. So don't let your belly sort of let loose. Pull it in a bit. And then maybe you look over the left shoulder to complete that twist. And just as we did on the other side, you're going to meet me at the bottom of your exhale. So everything out as you maybe twist a little bit more, and then inhale as you untwist, sweep the arms up, look up, watch them connect, exhale down through heart center. And release the hands to the mat, and you're going to bring them slightly behind your hips, and you're going to rotate your fingers. You're going to externally rotate your fingers. So your fingers are either facing away from you or they're all the way pointed behind you. Now I know many of us have some tight chests. We've had surgeries. So if you've had surgeries or you feel particularly tight in the chest, take that rotation out of the shoulders a little bit and just have the fingertips pointed away from each other. Okay, so we're externally rotating our shoulders, which is going to open up this chest area. Okay, so hopefully we've all got our hands all anchored into the ground. We can create a long spine here. Now, on an exhale, I want you to actually collapse through the chest a little bit and round the spine. You might even tuck the chin. Exhaling, and now inhale, opening that chest up, pushing the chest forward, pulling the belly in a little bit, allowing those shoulders to externally rotate, and then maybe you look up. Maybe you can let the head be heavy here. So find it, and then exhale, let things collapse in a little bit. Shoulders roll in, maybe your chin tucks, and then inhale, lift up, Open up the chest, pull the shoulders down the back. So really feel that opening through the shoulders and chest. This is sort of combating any kind of seated postures that we have. And then release out of that. So come off of the wrists and just let the forearms now rest on the knees so the hands are off, and just rotate out the wrists. You can make fists and then circle it out one way or the other. You can sort of flex and extend the wrists, just kind of giving those a little release. All right. Right hand either to the mat next to your hip, or slide your forearm back behind you in the small of your back. If you're here, that shoulder isn't rounded forward. You want to make sure you can hold this posture. So that's a reason why you might want to take your hand and put it on the mat next to you. Okay, so finding a nice neutral spine. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale again, left ear, left shoulder. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Exhale. Inhale. This time on an exhale, drop the ear and leave it there. Okay, so you're just going to hold this stretch a little bit. As your left ear drops to your left shoulder, think about your right shoulder pulling down away from your ear, kind of down towards your hip. So that's going to intensify that stretch a little bit. Now, if you'd like to explore with rounding the shoulder down, rounding the chin down, keeping that ear tilted, and then rounding that chin up. So kind of bringing it more into the jaw. And then if you want to just roll through that range of motion or stick at one spot that feels particularly good, we have a couple of breaths here. Just kind of investigating how it feels, where you might feel tightness and where you might not, and just observing that. And then finding that neutral position with the left ear to the left shoulder and coming back up to center. Now, on your exhale, turn and look to the left. Inhale to center. Turn, look to your left as you exhale. Inhale to center. Twice more. This time as you turn to the left and hold it there. And again, actively pull that shoulder away from the ear. And see if you can slowly get that chin, maybe to turn just a little bit more without your body turning. This is that, like, you know, I'm checking my blind spot here. This is a good range of motion to have when driving. And slowly coming out of that, releasing the hand wherever it is, both hands on the knees, moving through some cat-cows. So exhaling through your cat, inhaling through your cow, and then just finding that range of motion, connecting breath and body. All right, neutral spine. Drop the left hand either to the ground or sliding it back, and one side might be more open than the other, so you know, more than welcome to do something different on either side. Okay, inhale fully. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder. Inhale, center. Exhale, tilt. Inhale, exhale. One more. And then this time as you exhale and tilt, you're going to keep it there. Again, keeping that right ear towards the right shoulder, and then thinking about actively pulling that left shoulder down and away. And then invitation to kind of move through that half circle, dropping the chin, bringing it to the back of the neck, and then circling that chin up, but keeping that ear tilted, finding sort of the front of the neck into the jaw. And then, you know, taking a few breaths to move through that half circle, or, you know, find somewhere you want to hang out for a moment. Let it open up. Try to continue to sit long through the spine. And then bringing your head to center and lifting it up. Exhale, turn right. Pull that left shoulder back. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn right. Don't let that left shoulder come with you. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. One more. Exhale. Inhale to center, and then this time exhale, turn and hold. Okay. So again, don't let that left shoulder follow with you. We're not twisting our body here. We're really just working and isolating on our neck. Sitting nice and tall. One more breath here. And release to center. Release your hand back up onto your knee. And then again, cat-cows. So exhaling, rounding, inhale, broadening and pushing forward. One more breath. All right, neutral spine, hands out to cactus. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale, center. So exhale, finding the engagement through the back, opening through the front. Inhale, release. Exhale, keeping a neutral spine. Don't arch in the low back. Inhale, release. One more. And now bring your hands together, sort of like a prayer position, but you're going to lift your elbows a little higher so you have that leverage to push right into the palms together. Exhale, palms push together. Inhale, release. So here you should feel the pecs really engage. Exhale, palms push together. Find a long cervical spine as you do it. Inhale, release. Twice more. Good. All right, now take the right arm underneath the left arm, curling them up, and maybe the hands come back to back. Maybe they wrap all the way around and get palm to palm, or maybe there's some version in between. Or maybe it's this, right? Jack has a good one there. Maybe it's this, and that's great, okay? So wherever you are, this stretch really kind of pulls the shoulder blades apart from each other, which can feel good. But what I want you to do is to fight that stretch just a little bit by pulling your shoulder blades together just a little bit. What that's going to do is allow you to sit up nice and tall. Good. So you're either here or you've got some sort of version of eagle arms. If you've got eagle arms, you're lifting your forearms up and you're pulling your shoulder, your arm bones into your shoulder socket. Low belly stays in. Another breath here. And then you're going to slowly unwind. Couple of shoulder rolls forward and back. Okay, so left arm now comes underneath. And maybe it's here. Maybe you're a little more open on this side. Maybe you can kind of find that wrapping up. You investigate your body. There you go, John. Good, that looks good. As long as there's no sharp pain, you know, you can investigate that range of motion here. As long as you can sit up, right? All the things. Good. So no matter where you are, feel that stretch in your upper back, the shoulder blades pulling apart. But now combat that a little bit by pulling your shoulder blades together. So kind of feeling that chest open up just a little bit. And then if you have the eagle arms, you're going to lift the forearms a little bit. Pull the arm bone into the shoulder socket. Low belly stays in. And if your hands are on opposite shoulders, you're really rising tall through the crown of the head. And maybe you can inch those hands even further back behind you. Good. One more breath. And slowly unwind. Whatever feels good here. If you're feeling like some cat-cows would be great, or just some organic movement, shoulder rolls. All right. We are coming into a tabletop position, so you can move your blanket or pillow, whatever you're sitting on, off to the side, swing your feet underneath or your knees underneath you, and find table here. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips, shoulders pull down the back to protect our shoulders, belly pulls in to help support our hips. So table is definitely an active pose here. Finding that belly pulling in, shoulders down the back, finding structure here, and just holding that for a minute. Couple breaths, keep those full breaths, but maintaining that little bit of structure. I want everybody to take a nice big inhale in. Exhale, cat. So rounding the back, tucking the tail, tucking the chin. Inhale, cow. Pushing the hips back, sagging the belly, and really pulling the chest forward. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. One more of each. And then settling on a neutral spine. Again, shoulders down the back, belly pulled in. Inhale the right arm up, look up, reach up. Exhale, thread the needle and reach across the body. We're going to keep this dynamic. Inhale, look up, reach up. This is good for the thoracic spine. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale. Look up, reach up. This time on your exhales, you thread the needle, get all the way through, and then let the arm and the shoulder and the temple come down to the mat. And if you have a block and you feel like your head is way far off the mat, you know, blocks are really useful to bring the mat to you, the floor to you. So that block can be underneath the shoulder as well, perhaps, if you need to be up a little bit further. Okay, so using props if you've got them. Otherwise, settling in here, maybe experimenting with letting that right hip push to the right, kind of creating that separation in the low back from the rib cage and the hip bone. Next inhale, you're going to press through that left hand. Lift up, look up on your inhale. Exhale, all fours. Switching sides. Inhale, lift up, reach up, look up. Exhale, thread the needle, keeping it dynamic. 2 more times. Inhale, look up, reach up. Exhale, thread the needle. 1 more. Good. You guys have really good quality movement, I'm seeing. And you guys are all moving together, which I love. All right, reaching all the way through and then letting the arm and the shoulder and the temple come down to the ground. Any props that might be needed, add them. And then as you're reaching to the right with your left hand, your left hip is reaching to the left, so opposite directions. A couple of nice deep breaths. Really kind of tuning into that inhale and how that feels in this twist. Next inhale, press firmly through the right hand as you inhale that left arm up and plant the left hand down. Okay, this is actually a new one that we haven't done together on these Friday yoga sessions. These are called fire hydrants. You may have done them before. They're for the smaller glute muscles. They're a really good exercise to ignite those muscles that tend to not be ignited. Okay, tabletop position. So again, find that structure. Shoulders down the back, belly pulled in. Now bring the right knee just hovering off the ground. Okay, so that belly's pulled in, that right knee is hovering. Lift that right knee to the side, but don't let your hips open up. And then bring it back down. So you want to feel a little squeeze right in that upper butt. So you're going to lift that knee, keep the hips square to the mat, pull the belly in. That range of motion isn't very much, and then lower down. If you need to lower down to all fours just to kind of reset, we're gonna do 2 more. Hips stay square to the mat, belly pulls in, knee lifts, and then comes back down. You have 1 more. After that last one, you're gonna extend that right leg out long. We've done this for a few weeks now. Okay, so sole of the foot is on the ground. Okay, but your leg is somewhat straight. A little bend is fine. Okay, and then take your right hip and push it down towards your left knee. That's going to create an opening in the inner thigh. Okay, so you'll feel that inner thigh start to stretch out as you push your right hip down towards your left knee. You can stay here in this stretch, or you can add a little bit of dynamic to it, letting the hips drop down to the heel and then pushing back up. Either way is fine. If you really like that stretch right at the top, stay there. We got a couple of breaths. All right, we're gonna come off our wrists now for a moment. Okay, this right foot is gonna swing up to the outside of our right hand so that we can come into a half kneeling position, okay? All right, some of you guys spring right up. Others might need to take a little bit of time, okay? So balance can be tricky here for some of you. Make sure you've got a little space between your front foot and your back knee. So we've got kind of a wide stance, okay? So if you're working on balance and just being here in this position, stay here, okay? You don't have to go forward with it. Just work this point. For those of us who are gonna inhale our arms up in a moment, let's set this up. So tailbone down, square the hips, belly pulls in, sweep the arms up on an inhale, shift the weight forward. Exhale, back down. Good. Inhale, sweep up, keep those square hips. Good, chest up, and then down on your exhale. 1 more, we're gonna stay up on this one. Inhale, up. Good. Now you can stay here, or if this is challenging for you, you can always bring your hands to your hips. If you're gonna stay here, take your right hand and bring it around your left wrist. As you exhale, bend to the right, just a little bit to start with. Find a gazing point and see if you can balance this and find the stretch across the hip. Keep the chest open to the ceiling more than rounding down to the ground. Come back up to center, sweep the hands down, and however it works for you, you might need to heel toe that foot out so you can swing it back around and find tabletop. All right, we're gonna do the other side and then we'll be done with our hands and knees. Okay, so fire hydrants on the left-hand side. So I'm gonna turn around, pull the belly in, shoulders down the back. Okay, you're gonna lift that left knee up off the ground to a hover, keeping the hips square, lift the knee up to the side. Release it down. If you need to release it down all the way to the ground, that's fine. Let's do 3 more. You do your own timing. Lifting that knee, but not opening the hips and keeping the belly in tight. This is our last one here. And now we'll take that left leg, open it up to the left, put the sole of the foot on the ground. Now find the stretch by taking the right hip bone, the right sit bones, and pushing it down towards the left sit bones down to the right knee. And then staying here in the stretch or moving through that more dynamic, really keeping that hip pushing down towards the right knee throughout the motion if you're moving back and forth. And then if you're moving, let's come up over the knees with the hips. And we're gonna take this left foot and swing it up. Do the best you can, pull the belly in. You want the foot to be right outside the left hand. And then square the hips up, pull the belly in so that you've got structure to be able to come into this half kneeling position. Okay, so finding the half kneeling position, tailbone down, belly pulled in, squaring the hips. So right hip pushes forward, left hip pulls back. You're welcome to stay right here or inhale up, shift your weight forward a little bit. Exhale, sweep the arms down. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale up, stay up. You're welcome to stay here if this feels like your edge. Otherwise, grab your right wrist with your left hand. And on an exhale, lean to the left as the right hip pushes out to the right. Good, looking for that stretch across the side bodies, side of the hip, IT band. Back up to center, sweep the arms down, heel toe that foot out, and then find that tabletop position. All right, we are coming into a seated position. So you'll just sit back, let your hips fall to the side, and sweep the feet out in front of you. I'm gonna face you guys. All right, so again, whatever it is you have that you sit on, make sure you're sitting on something so that you're able to get those sit bones all the way to the edge of whatever it is you're sitting on and have that neutral pelvis. So you should feel like you're almost rocking off of the edge of your pillow or blanket. Good. Okay, we're gonna take our right leg over our left. Okay, sitting nice and tall. Good. Right hand is gonna stay by our right hip. Inhale the left hand up. And then exhale, you're gonna twist and reach across your body with your left hand. So your hips are kind of twisted in one direction and you're twisting your upper body kind of into the hips. Keep your spine long here. As you keep the chest open and turned slightly to the right. You'll probably feel more in your left leg, that bottom leg, maybe the hip as well. And then you can bring that right hand out if you're wanting to kind of bend into this more. You find your edge, right? Maybe right here and being here is where it's at, okay? So you can feel free to be as upright as possible. You can also feel free to find some depth here, depending on your body. It's slowly coming out of that. And switch sides. So now the right leg up and over the left. Left hand is going to be on the ground next to you. Inhale the right hand up. Exhale, reach it across the body as you twist to the left a little bit. And you can, if you can grab the foot, great. If you've got, you know, your hand on your shin, you know, whatever you can get to is great. Shoulders down the back. And then again, nice long spine, finding that little twist. And then if you're wanting to take it a little bit further, you can widen out that left arm as you sort of hinge across your body. Anchoring that right hip to the ground. And then slowly coming up and releasing out of that. Bring your soles of your feet on the ground about shoulder width, okay? And then bring your hands back behind you so that you can lean back in just a little bit of a reclined position, but you're light in your hands. You're still really using your core to be nice and straight and not dump into your shoulders or wrists. Let your knees fall to the left. As you let them fall to the left, keep your right hip grounded, okay? So try to keep that opposite hip pulling down. Now, let your knees win a little bit. Let your knees pull down a little bit and your hip come up just a little bit, but now try to combat that by pushing the right hip back down. Okay, so you're gonna slowly get some big stretch in the smaller tissues of your hip joint here. So again, let your knees win a little bit so your hip comes up, but then try to combat that and push the hip back down. All right, let's come through center, try the other side. So they're gonna fall to the right. That left hip's gonna wanna come off. I want you to anchor it for now. And then let your knees win a little bit. So the knees fall, but the left hip comes up off, but then try to combat that. Try to push that left hip sit bone to the ground. And then let the knees fall again. I'm much tighter on this side. You may find that one side has a lot more mobility than the other. Keep the low belly in and a long spine. See if you can let those knees win one more time. The hip comes up, but then try to stretch that sit bone to the ground. And then come on up to center. Open up your legs into a wide print, okay? How wide? Doesn't matter, just a little bit wider than your hips, okay? Sit tall. Inhale the arms up. And then exhale, we're hinging forward. Now your hinge, might be not too far. I want you to try to keep that nice long spine. So try to avoid this for now. Okay, so really push those sit bones back behind you as you lean forward, okay? This is usually a toughie for a lot of people, so don't feel no judgment around, oh man, I can barely do this. It's okay. Try not to hang your head. Hanging of the head kind of gives you the sense that you're closer to the ground. Keep that spine long. One more breath here. And then slowly coming out. Bring the legs back together and bring your right foot to the ground and then across the left leg, okay? So right hand is going to be on the ground behind your hip. Inhale, left arm up. And then exhale, turn to the right and hug in that right knee to the chest. So your chest is going to be turning to the right. You're in a twist here. You're hugging that knee in. If you feel like you don't need that right hand, double arm hug. Trying to sit tall through the crown of the head. Okay, so if you can't do that, if you're really rounding, let go a little bit of that knee so that you can sit tall. I want you to prioritize that tall spine. Couple more breaths here. You can finish off the twist with a looking back behind over the right shoulder. Slowly releasing out of that and switching side. So now left foot comes up and over the right leg, left hand to behind the hip. Inhale the right arm up and exhale as you twist to the left and grab onto that knee and pull that knee in towards the chest. Nice long spine here. Looking over the left shoulder. Slowly coming out of that twist, coming onto your back now. Removing whatever it is you're sitting on, all the way down to your back. Extend the left leg long. Actually, no, keep both knees bent for now. Bring the right knee into your chest, but then slide it over to the outside of your rib cage. So your right knee is in and slightly to the right of your torso. If you feel comfortable here, extend that left leg long. So extending that left leg gives you a little bit more of a groin stretch. And make sure your low back isn't arching way, way off the ground. Good. Release that knee a little bit, coming into a half happy baby. So either grabbing the bottom of the foot if you can reach it, if not, grabbing your ankle or your calf, okay? And again, if you need to bend that left leg, totally do that just to help, things stay balanced. And then once you've got your ankle or your foot pulling down on your leg so that your knee starts to come to the outside. And if you want to stay with that, pulling the knee in towards instead of the top of the foot, totally welcome to do that. Slowly releasing that foot and letting the knee come across the body into a supine twist. You can adjust the hips or legs however you may like. You can add a prop underneath your left leg. Open up the arms to a T. And then maybe looking over the right shoulder. And then just settling in here. Maintain your nice full breath just for a little bit longer. Stay connected to your intention and to perhaps your mantra. Release through center and switch sides. So this time our left knee will be pulled in towards the chest, but then slide it over to the outside of the rib cage. Your right leg is either bent or straight. Pull the shoulders down the back as you pull that knee in. Keep that right leg straight and strong. Release the knee a bit and half happy baby. So whatever you can grab and pull down so that the knee begins to come to the outside of the left rib cage. Again, this might be the place where that right leg bends and it feels a lot more accessible and doable. So feel free to experiment with that right leg bending or straightening. It's a little more intense with it straight. And then releasing that leg and letting the left leg roll over to the right into a supine twist. Adjusting your hips, opening up the arms and looking over the left shoulder. You have a prop and you want to put it underneath your left knee, help anchor and ground that knee. Do so. Hang on to that full breath still. We're not quite done with it. Using your mantra, connecting to your intention. Slowly coming through center. Extending both legs long, Shavasana. So now let go of your breath control. Let your breath settle in to doing what it does at its own pace. Bring your intention, perhaps your mantra, to the forefront of your mind as you settle into Shavasana and succumb to stillness, but stay connected through that intention and your mantra. slowly begin to resurface, adding small movements, more presence to your breath. Maybe rolling out your ankles and wrists. Full body stretch. And as you inhale, pushing the belly button up to the ceiling. And then however you like, taking your time, coming into a seated position, rolling to the side is awesome and supportive and help you kind of get to that seated position. Taking the time to grab whatever it is you sit on and making your way into seated. And when you find yourself there, close down the eyes, bring the hands to heart center, and just one more time, the end of class here, connecting to your breath, but also using your breath to connect to your intention, that purpose that you brought onto the mat with you today, that you deem worthy of your time and efforts. And then remembering that that intention is put into practice as we take it off the mat with us, and as we travel through our day and our time. And whispering that mantra one more time to yourself, giving yourself a little smile as you do it. The highest light in me sees and honors and respects the highest light in you. Namaste.